let us discuss in detail about these crystalline allotropes. Okay, crystalline allotropes majorly we have diamond, graphite and Buckminster fullerenes. Right, and also we are having the latest allotrope is nanotubes. That is a different class of crystalline form. Now let us discuss about crystalline allotropes. What are these crystalline allotropes? Crystalline allotropes, see here there will be, as we have discussed in the definitions, crystalline allotropes have an ordered arrangement. Right, those ordered atoms will be having a specific hybridized atoms which will be repeating a particular geometrical arrangement. Here we are having what? Diamond. Here in both diamond and graphite we have and graphite have network structures. Whereas Buckminster fullerene is molecular mode of arrangement. Molecular structure. It has a specific number of atoms which will be arranged in a particular shape in a molecular form. That will be having a particular shape, hollow shape. Now we will discuss in detail about diamond and graphite or all these crystalline allotropes in detail. Coming to diamond. In diamond, carbon is going to have sp3 hybridization. Which kind of hybridization it is going to maintain? sp3 hybridization. And it is having tetrahedral shape. Tetrahedral shape in three-dimensional manner. Right, all the whole molecule will be in a three-dimensional network. All the atoms will be connected to other atoms in a three-dimensional network manner. Due to this three-dimensional network arrangement, this diamond will be very hard. The carbon-carbon bonding will be very rigid. Due to that rigidness, it is very difficult to break that bond. Right, it is very difficult to break, and that is the reason why among the known hardest materials, diamond is one among them. Right, diamond is the hardest material because of what? Three-dimensional network structural arrangement. Due to that, its carbon-carbon bonding will be very strong enough to break, and therefore that is the reason why it will be very rigid and very strong. Right, now if you take the three-dimensional arrangement, each carbon will be connected to a tetrahedral manner. The second crystalline allotrope is graphite. Here graphite is having sp2 hybridization. The carbon atoms which are present in the graphite are having sp2 hybridization with one unhybridized atomic orbital, where one electron will be present in each unhybridized atomic orbital, due to which it forms a pi bond. So right here graphite will be having which kind of bond? Pi bond. Whereas here this is having a strong covalent network. Here covalent bond will be formed. Covalent network. Like completely covalent. All the sp3 hybridized carbons will be bonded covalently to other carbons, and a complete network arrangement will be there. Coming to the graphite, here in graphite, carbon is having which kind of hybridization? sp2 hybridization. sp2 hybridization. Due to this sp2 hybridization, what will be there? One unhybridized atomic orbital will be there. One unhybridized atomic orbital which undergoes delocalization. Which undergoes what? Delocalization. This delocalization of one electron present in the unhybridized atomic orbital will give electrical conductivity will give what kind of property? Electrical conductivity. Whereas diamond is electrically non-conductor. So here it is electrical insulator. You can say it as what? Insulator. Whereas this due to the presence of this delocalization of graphite shows what? Conductivity. Right, now let us see, and here these sp2 hybridized carbons will be arranged in the form of two-dimensional networks, two-dimensional layers, one above the other. See here sp2, all sp2 hybridized carbons will be bonded to each other and they will be forming one layer, and just below that, with a very small gap between the layers, there will be one more layer, and in this way they will be forming two-dimensional layers. Right here, I will try to draw this. Electron transfer occurs. That means the shifting of electrons occurs from this layer to this layer. Due to the shifting of these electrons, this is going to show what kind of property, that is conductivity. So here there will be a weak bonding. So here there will be a weak interaction. London dispersion. Right, these weak interactions will make the layers to slide over one another. These layers, due to the weak interactions, what happens? They will slide over one another. So here, one layer will be sliding over another layer. This is the reason why this graphite can be used in the pencil lids. So you know that we will be using pencils, and that pencil can write on the paper because that layers, if one graphite layer, due to the weak interaction, that will be sliding over another layer, and that will one layer will be spreading over the paper, and as we keep on moving, what happens? They will be just that interaction gets disturbed due to that mechanical force which we apply. These weak interactions, they break, and what happens? That graphite starts sliding, and that will be appearing on the paper. So in this way, the whole, as we continue to write, what happens? The whole graphite will be spreading over the paper with a very weak attractive interactions. Right? So this is the reason why this can be used in what? This can be used in pencil lids. It also have other binding materials in them, but mostly graphite is present in the pencil lids. The third type of crystalline allotrope is Buckminster fullerene. This is named after Richard Buckminster Fuller. He is an American architect and is also a scientist who, on his name, this allotrope is given the name Buckminster fullerene. Or shortly we also call it as what? Or this is also called as what? Buckyball. This is also called as what? Buckyball. Buckyball, because it looks like a soccer ball. All the 60 carbons. See here, this Buckminster fullerene will be having a range of carbons starting from 20 to 20 carbons to a long range of carbon atoms that will be having a specific number of carbon atoms, and those carbon atoms will be arranged in a form of hollow tube or a hollow sphere, and due to that hollow arrangement, it looks like what? Soccer ball. It looks like a soccer ball, so that's the reason why it is known as what? Buckyball. It looks like a soccer ball, so that's the reason why it is named as what? Buckyball. It is also known as what? Buckyball. Here with what? 12 pentagons and 20 hexagons. This Buckminster fullerene is having medicinal importance. It is used in curing cancers. It is used in curing cancers. The fourth type of crystalline allotrope, that is nanotubes. These are very similar to the second type of allotropes, that is graphite, but in a graphite we have a layered linear mode of arrangement, but in this we have a hollow, just like a tube. So in the name itself we are having, it's a tube. Nano means what? Very very small, 10 to the power of minus 8, 9, right? So this will be in the form of what? Tubes. All the pentagons, hexagons, they will be in the form of tubes. So they will be just like tubes with a very small size. So this is the reason why the drugs, these nanotubes are used in inoculating drugs into the cells with the help of these nanotubes. See, the molecules, the drug molecules will be incorporated into these hollow space of the nanotubes, and these nanotubes will be sent into the cell which is to be treated. So in this way, these nanotubes are also having medicinal properties, medicinal uses, and also these are also having which kind of carbon is the carbon present in this nanotubes is sp2 hybridized with one unhybridized atomic orbital with one unpaired electron, which will be undergoing delocalization, just like in the case of graphite. See, just if you take a graphite layer and if you fold it and if you convert it into a tube, how it looks, the same manner these nanotubes are. Nanotubes are having the same sp2 hybridized arrangement, but they will be having a hollow space in between. Right? That looks like a tube or a pipe. So because of that, that will be used in the medicine, that will be having some medicinal properties, and also this is used in electronic goods. This can also be used in electronic goods, where we can use it in the place of copper, or we can use these to carry out the electrical signals. Its conductivity. Due to its conductivity, we can use these nanotubes in the electronic goods. In electronic goods, we can use them. Even we can replace the copper wires present in the electronic gadgets, and we can use these nanotubes. So these nanotubes, they can carry the electrical signals, and therefore they can replace those metallic wires. So that is the use of these nanotubes. Right. In the next video, let us discuss about the versatile nature of carbon.